Really cold here. Very cold, very cold. Oh, how you doing? It's cold outside. A little snow and stuff like that. So just enjoying a little hot beverage on a cold day. Very good. Yummy. So day 5, we're actually looking at insulators and conductors. And what we're going to have you guys do, something a lot of fun, is to make a drink coaster. So if I have a nice hot cup of coffee or hot cocoa or tea, whatever, and you definitely never want to just put it on the table. Could damage the table if it's too hot, depending on the type of table you have. You don't want to damage the table over time. You could do that, depending on your tabletop. So you want to protect it using a coaster, but you want to make sure your coaster is a good insulator and not a good conductor. So hopefully you're learning a little bit about what the difference of conductors and insulators are. So there was a little video on some coasters. Now it's your turn to make a coaster. So I'm going to show you. Oh, and we also have a whole section of that in our recording sheet, day 5, if you're using that, or in your science notebook. So you're going to have some materials. Your teacher's going to have all sorts of just random materials. I'll show you. I found some random materials for my coaster. So let me share my screen here so you can see what we got going on. Hopefully. Oh, I got to turn on my camera. Hold on a second. There we go. Getting there. There's my camera. Awesome. Finally there. So here is, I found some fabric. So feels like it could be like wool or something. So I have some fabric I found. So I thought about maybe using that. And I found some cardboard. So a little piece of cardboard. So I think I'm going to use those. But you can also, what other materials? Aluminum foil. You might have some of that. You might have some other type of fabric, or wood, or any other types of like wax paper to make your coaster. I do have a little limit. So your coaster, in the video they just had one layer, but I'm gonna let you guys actually, you can actually layer it and use a couple different materials if you want to. The problem is it cannot be thicker than 1 centimeter. So whatever you make has to be smaller than 1 centimeter. It can't be thicker than 1 centimeter. So I know I'm going to have to cut this because if I do the 2 layers, so I'm thinking what I could do is, make a layer of cardboard, fabric, and then cardboard. That should be under 1 centimeter for my coaster. So that's what I'm thinking I might do. And you get to choose how you want to do it. But remember, we want to make sure we don't want the heat getting to the tabletop. So that's the biggest thing. The other thing is the diameter. So obviously a circle, like this tape thing here, diameter is across. So if I measure across a circle, that's called the diameter. Very mathy. And your diameter of your coaster cannot exceed 10 centimeters. So oddly enough, this roll of tape is about 10 centimeters. So that gives you a nice little template. So I could actually trace around that with my pen, and I can cut out a nice little circle that is 10 centimeters. I can mark it if I want to and cut out that way. And then I'll do the same thing. Wow, just barely fits here, so that's great. So I'll be able to cut one piece here, one piece here, and then I will put my wool in between that. I think that might be a good good coaster. And I might even use the tape to tape the side so I have a nice round coaster for my drink. Then what you're going to do, and make sure it matches all the criteria. It's got to be less than 1 centimeter thick, okay? And the diameter cannot exceed 10 centimeters. So it has to follow those rules. So when I get ready to actually do my readings and take some data, first of all, a thermometer. So you need a thermometer, and you'll want to record, make sure you record what the room temperature is, because we need a starting point. Every time you're doing temperature or something, you have to have a starting temperature. So record whatever the room temperature is at that time, because you'll want to record that number. Okay. And then what you'll do is you'll have your delicious hot beverage, and you will put the thermometer on the table like that. Put your coaster on it, like in the video, like you saw. In the video, they used a digital scanning thermometer, which is pretty cool. We do have some of those in the science lab if you choose to use some of those non-contact temperature sensors. They're very cool. You could use some of those. And then I'm going to put my drink right on top of that, my hot coffee or cocoa. Really, you just use hot water, but be very careful, because it might be very warm, and we want you to stay safe. So let your teacher do that part for you to test it. So then you will let that sit for about 5 minutes, and you will record the temperature after 5 minutes. If you have additional time, you can record for another 5 minutes. So it just depends on how much time you have. You can do the first 5 minutes, and then you could do another additional 5 minutes if you have more time. So that's basically it. Then you will, after 5 minutes, read the temperature. Did it increase, decrease? So write that number. You can actually do some subtraction and see how much, kind of like you did with the energy heat lab. And then record all that data in your science journal, or you can use the recording sheet. The other cool thing is you want to share your data. So once you're done with your coaster recording your data, you want to visit some of your friends in your class and see, first of all, what materials did they use for their coaster. Also check their coaster too, make sure it's not thicker than a centimeter, and make sure it is does not exceed 10 centimeters in diameter. So yeah, check their coaster, okay? And then see what their temperature was. Was their coaster better insulator than yours or not? Was it more of a conductor? Did it get hotter? So the thing is, we don't want that temperature getting to the thermometer. So if it increases in temperature a lot, you know that it did not do a good job of insulating. And then think about the materials that you use. Which materials are good conductors of heat? Which materials are good insulators? So you want to share that. So obviously this ties in everything, even the songs, because heat goes from hot to cold, from hot to cold, from hot to cold. And we also know that he can move in 3 different ways. Yep, we know that too. Conduction, convection, radiation. And you can think about that too when you're doing your coaster. How is conduction, convection, radiation involved with your mug and your coaster? So believe it or not, there's a little bit of everything right in this final day of exploration, day 5. I think it'll be a lot of fun. You get to make your own crazy coaster and record your data. The biggest thing is share your data with other scientists and come up with some good conclusions. So that's day 5, guys. Should be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see what you come up with. I'm going to get inside because it's really cold out here, and I'm going to get a little bit more cocoa. This time, maybe some marshmallows in it would be really good. because I didn't have any the last time. So see you guys later.